Hello and welcome to another episode of Tales of Middle-earth, the series in which we explore stories and locations unrelated to our journey in Citadel Guard Adventures. This is Beriathan of the Citadel Guard of Gondor, and today we are doing the second part of the Baggins birthday event. The last year we did the first half, which involves, first talking with Frodo, I believe, in Rivendell, and then you go to the Shire and gather stories about Bilbo and then bring those stories back to Bilbo. For the longest time that was all there was to the Baggins event birthday, but since 2018 there was a new addition to this event, and I missed it. I have missed it basically since it was first released. On 2018 I was not playing the game for, personal reasons. Not that I wanted to, but, that's life, you know. On 2019 I didn't play the game during that time frame, so I missed the event. And during 2020 I was just focused on getting the series started, so I was barely playing any other content. Last year, on 2021, I did play the Baggins event. I uploaded that on the channel as well. You might remember that. But I didn't know there was the second part of it, and so I didn't do it. Well, I hadn't reached that point yet in the game as well. You need to be at least level 115 to get to that area, because this second portion of the Baggins birthday takes place in the Long Lake and, the Northern Lands. And to be honest with you, I would have still missed this if not for one of Cordovan's streams last year, in which he did this portion of the quest, and that way I realized I was missing this whole other thing. So all this is to say that what we're about to see today, it's something that I will be experiencing for the first time with you right now, and I have no idea of what to expect. I was just here in Rivendell because, I guess we can give Bilbo some, birthday cheers before we get going on our way. As a matter of fact, I'm also recording this on September the 22nd. I mean, it's my own little way of honoring Bilbo and Frodo, even though this episode will release a little bit later, but you get the idea. So I think that's enough of a prelude before we begin this. So we're gonna actually begin by mastering in Dale. This is the closest we can get to where we actually need to be to start this quest line. Well, not a quest line, it's just one single quest, but it seems it's quite lengthy. So I guess we'll have our hands full for the remainder of the episode, I hope. So now that we're here in Dale, we're gonna travel to the Long Lake, to Lake Town, it is. And from Lake Town we'll make our way to where we need to go. I actually had to write this location down because I have no idea where to find this place. So yeah, let us hope we can get where we can find that location easily. If you are using the map, the location is in one of the letters that spell Esgaroth. Not quite sure which one, as I wrote down the coordinates. It's 13.4 north and 29.4 west, if I'm not mistaken, so we just need to keep riding south. Basically, we're almost there from the west, on the west coordinate, but we still need to ride south a little bit. And it's been so long, actually, since I quested in here. And well, nighttime and everything. I'm kind of lost. But well, I'm glad that now I have the required level to be able to enter this area and not get into trouble. And look, this is what we were looking for. So let's see. Ah, well, you see, it's not Bilbo himself, it's just a memory, and that's why it looks a little faded away. Oh well, here we go. So, very excited to see what this is about. As you stand on the shore of the Long Lake, your thoughts turn to the adventures of Bilbo Baggins and the Dwarves of Thorin's company. The old hobbit has shared some of the tale with you, and you have heard portions of it from others who were there or knew of the events. Today must be quite near to the anniversary of Bilbo's arrival at Esgaroth, mustn't it? The city did not stand for long after that, but neither did the dragon Smaug. Your curiosity is stirred by these musings. You decide to speak with the guards at the entrance to Lake Town and see what they might tell you about Bilbo's role in the last days of Esgaroth. I was just there. I was just at Lake Town. There should be an easier way of getting here to Bilbo, and I guess there is. If you use the barrels in Felegoth, you have a chance of ending up in the shores of the Long Lake, but since that's not guaranteed, I didn't try to well, try my luck and fail because, well, let's say I'm not the luckiest guy with the RNG. So yeah, that was an unnecessary risk, in my opinion. Just easier to ride, even if we need to then go back the way we came. We'll see. So yeah, it's also almost the anniversary of Bilbo's arrival at Esgaroth. He got a cold thanks to his barrel riding. So well, he mentions that during the first chapter of Lord of the Rings, not The Hobbit though. So well, as far as I know, that's a little retcon by Tolkien that really doesn't hurt anyone. The guards know the guard nods and greeting as you approach. What do I remember about the death of Smaug? Are you having a laugh at my expense, friend? That was more than 75 years ago. Smaug died before I was even born. Bartrek eyes you warily for a moment, but then he decides you mean no harm by it, and he relaxes his guard. I have heard stories, of course. When I was just a boy, we used to sneak down to the remains of Esgaroth and spy on the wreckage of the old city. We used to think Smaug himself might rise from the water and chomp us whole. His bones are visible now, but it was not always so. Perhaps the lake does not want to hold him any longer. Now that I think on it, there is one with whom you might speak. Old Loscarl was a young boy when Smaug died. Now he is the oldest resident of our city. His memory is not what it was, but he might share what he does remember with you. He often holds court in the back of the Dragonbone Inn. You might find his talk of interest, friend. Which one is the Dragonbone Inn? Is that one the inn in which we meet Authi, Gemcutter? Because I don't know of any other inns in this place, so that's where I'm going. That's where I'm headed. And yeah, I think this visit will be a little bit more peaceful than the last one. Last time we were there. Not our fault though. We were attacked, you might remember that. You're looking for Loscarl. For years it was his custom to sit in the corner chair upstairs, but climbing the steps has proven beyond his capability in recent years, and now I allow him to sit in the back. He'll nurse a mug of beer for the better part of an afternoon, and desires naught else but a bowl of soup to slake his appetite. Speak to him freely, but do not upset him. He is a welcome patron, and I do not want them unduly bothered within my establishment. Yeah, rest assured, not gonna cause any trouble. Eh? What's that? Lost Carl squints at you distrustfully, but when you explain that you'd like to hear what he remembers of the death of Smaug, he favors you with a toothless grin. I was just a boy back then, no more 7 years old, but still I remember it like it were yesterday. A pack of dwarves came to the old lake town. My dad took me to see them. We were going to claim the mountain back from Smaug they were. It wasn't so easy, was it? No, it was Bard the Bowman who killed the dragon, not any of those dwarfs or their little friend. You ask the old man about the friend of the dwarves, and he shakes his head. At first I thought he was just a lad, same as me. Or a very young dwarf. His name was Bilbo, it was, and he didn't look like much of a hero. I don't remember much more than that. If you want to learn more about him, you should talk to some of the draft elves. I remember they had worked with Master and went off in a huff. Being elves, they might still be alive and might tell you more in can. So now we gotta go to Loeglond, of course, but come on. It's just a lot of riding around. It's a shame, a real shame there are no stable masters for Loeglond. But there is no easy way to Loeglond. We gotta ride from here, either here or Felegoth. Well, we are already here, right? Might as well. But well, since this is the third time we're gonna be traveling down this road, I guess it's time to go with a little more speed. How far are we? 600 meters. I mean, it's not that much, but it still is the third time we are riding down this road, so what else are the elves going to say? They surely remember Bilbo, right? I mean, how can they forget? I mean, yeah, here's the memory of Bilbo, and look, we were right next to Loeglond. So yeah, it's the third time we traveled this road. So about 1500 meters, something like that. I mean, once again, it's not much, but still. I understand you are seeking information about Thorin Oakenshield. He has been dead this many years, and the circumstances of his return to Erebor are shrouded in mystery. Is that why you have come to me? I and a number of other elves from Loeglond were dining with the master of Esgaroth when Thorin presented himself to the guards of the city. We knew at once that some underhanded business was afoot, for these same dwarves had been apprehended in the wood and imprisoned by King Thranduil. He had not set them free. How came these dwarves to escape? I set this question aside during the events that followed, and while some evil came of them, so too did much that was good. But know this, my companion Kelethros did not forget the question of Thorin's peculiar escape, or the curious fellow who accompanied his band. This was no dwarf, but a hobbit. His name was Bilbo, as I recall. My friend Kelethros has spent a great deal of time puzzling over the mystery, and every few years he makes it a point to return to Felegoth to search the dungeons for some clue. He is likely there right now. If you find him, he may be able to tell you more. Alright, I'll go to Felegoth. At least now I'm glad I didn't swift travel to Felegoth and then rode here. That would have been painful too, but right now I also don't feel like mastering in Dale and swift traveling to Felegoth. That will break the immersion a little bit. We're already here, so I mean, we are not that far again. A little bit far. Well, hard to know because these, I don't know, I mean, since Felegoth, the interior location is located physically on an entirely different portion of the map, it's not always a good idea to trust the quest tracker with distance sensing here. That's what I remember, at least. Ah, Forgotten Birthday. Is that a reference to Bilbo? Well, forgetting it was his birthday amidst all the chaos of the moment. You gotta keep in mind, he had just escaped the dungeons of Thranduil atop a barrel. He was sick, and they were in the middle of a feast honoring the dwarves, not him. So he had forgotten about his birthday that time, and it seems that's what the quest is referencing. We'll find out soon enough, I guess. As soon as we finish this quest, we should get an answer as to all this, I think. Okay, here is the path to the north. Of course, it's a little confusing, especially at night. I think you will agree with me. Alright, thankfully we didn't fall from the tree bridge, as happened to me a couple times, and it's always annoying. But no, I think after the new bridles were introduced to the game, war steeds handle a little bit better. Well, depending on your steed and the bridle, of course, but there is still a noticeable difference. Okay, Kelethros, yeah, is in the dungeons, well, the cellars. We can ride inside. Why not? Because it seems, well, this quest will have us go all over the northern lands, so we have already talked with the Elves and with the men of Lake Town, but we still have the men of Dale and the Dwarves at Erebor, so is that what we're gonna do today, game? We'll see, we'll see. Thank God we can use the horse inside these caves, because they are relatively big. Doing this on foot, even with a speed boost, it's really time consuming. Alright, here's who we were looking for, Kelethros. What do I know about Thorin Oakenshield's return to Erebor almost 80 years ago? Not as much as I wish I did. He and the others of his band emerged as from myth, no more corporeal than the stories of the champions I was told in my youth. How else could they escape from my king's dungeon? I have labored for years on the unraveling of this impossible problem, and I am no nearer to its solution than I was on that day in the Master of Esgaroth's feasting hall. I returned at once to Felegoth with Aeleth, and after reporting what we had seen to King Thranduil, she put it from her mind, but I could not. And every year on the anniversary of this mystery I have returned to Felegoth to try and puzzle out a solution, but always it eludes me. It is true that the chief guard and Gallian the Battler shared too much of the king's wine the night the dwarves disappeared from their cells, but when the discovery was made, the keys were still upon the guard's belt. He would not have let them out, and yet, presupposing that a dwarf managed to burgle the keys, what burglar would have given back the ring of keys once the deed was performed? Furthermore, no dwarf could have gotten the key ring from within his own cell, not even Thorin Oakenshield, who was kept separately from the others. King Thranduil believed that the dwarves did not know Thorin was imprisoned, and neither did he know that they were captured and held. If one or the other were to escape, that should have resulted in one or the other being left behind. They could not have passed messages to each other, Beriathan, unless they managed it through the guard somehow. But I can conceive of no means by which an elf guard would have willingly done this. There is more. The gates of Felegoth at that time were sealed by magic, and none but an elf could open them. Even if the dwarves somehow escaped from their cells, they should have been trapped within the cavern and easily recaptured. Could one dwarf have slipped through the gate in the wake of an unobservant elf? Perhaps, but unlikely. Could such a number of dwarves pass unnoticed? Absolutely not. Keletros sees you looking around at the barrels and casks, and he shakes his head. I see your thinking, friend, but that would not work either. These wine barrels might be large enough to hold a single dwarf, but they are difficult and time-consuming to open. One year, I spent the greater part of an evening trying to open a number of them, but they make a great deal of noise and cannot be easily closed, and certainly not from the inside. One of the batter tops or apple tops might serve, but it will require a dwarf to remain outside. If there were an accomplice to seal the casks, it could nearly be done, but how then could the accomplice follow his embarreled friends? I am no closer to solving this mystery. Perhaps next year I will think of something. Yeah, if you have not thought of it in the past 80 years, I don't think you will figure it out, especially because well, Bilbo is very far away, but the ring is gone as well, so I don't see Keletros making that connection. Who knows how many more years will he spend thinking on that? Unless, of course, Bilbo decides to confess now. I mean, what does he have to lose, right? It's not as if Thranduil is gonna come for him now. They have better things to do than imprison an old hobbit. Bilbo redeemed himself many times over already, so let's see what he has to say. I'm thinking he's gonna have a lot of fun too.
A lovely day, isn't it?
Birthday wishes! Why, thank you very much, Beriathan. It quite slipped my mind that it was that time of the year again. It is not the first time that has happened to me. I spent my 51st birthday with a terrible cold, you know. I had just arrived at Esgaroth on Long Lake with Thorin and the dwarves, and was quite soaked through and waterlogged from the trip down the forest river. The dwarves were treated to many a banquet by the master there, and the food was most delicious, but my cold was such that I could not thank anyone properly. Thank you very much, I remember saying. He smiles at the memory. You tell the old hobbit that one of the rough elves who was at Esgaroth has spent every year at this time trying to determine how the dwarves escaped from the Elven King's dungeon without magic. Bilbo laughs at that. Well, he seems to have forgotten that there was another in Thorin's company present at those feasts, but I would be lying if I said there was no magic involved at all. I should tell him the truth of it, or show him the account in my book and unravel the mystery. I do not want to deprive him of this, Beriathan. Every year at this time he tries to puzzle it out. Why, that sounds like I have given him a present with which to mark my birthday each year. When I was 51, birthdays did not seem quite as important as they do now. Thank you for helping to mark the occasion with me, Beriathan. It is good to celebrate one's birthday when it arrives in peace, or when you are in the middle of an adventure it can be harder to remember. Thank you for reminding me not to forget each birthday as it comes, my friend, mid-adventure or no. Okay, I can only pick one. Well, birthday boy, of course. But I mean, the Minas Morgul pre-order gives you the male and female titles. Why can't I have them both now, right? Minas Morgul was released after this, so maybe... Well, it's evident they made a choice after this happened. So, a new title has been bestowed upon you. Beriathan, birthday boy, let us see. Birthdays are for celebrating, on that we agree. Poor Kelethros, he's not gonna get the answer he's looking for, and once again, I don't think he can get it on his own, so... Nothing we can do right now, unless we go back, but there's not another reason to, so let us just toast to Bilbo's birthday. As Leonard Nimoy would say, the greatest little hobbit of them all, and I will agree with him. So here's to you, Bilbo, and I hope there will be many more years to come so that we can celebrate together. But, well, that was it. It was a really short celebration in comparison especially to last year's. So once again, thank you for watching this episode of Tales of Middle-earth. Join me next time when we will explore many more locations and stories that are still left untold. For the time being, this has been Beriathan of the Citadel Guard of Gondor, and I will see you on the next one. Until then, my friends, stay safe, take care, good luck to you all, and I will see you later.